Hello, lovely humans. Welcome back to Chronically Joyful. In the interest of trying to remain as authentic as possible, I did not feel like doing this today. I, in fact, am feeling pretty bummed. I'm dressed like this simply for the fact that I had a very important meeting at work today that I wanted to pull in my professionalism for. I am wearing sneakers now. Thank God I wore different shoes today and everything. And it definitely paid off, but left me feeling a little on the glum side afterwards. So, what better time to record a video all about my journey with steroids and multiple sclerosis than a time that I am not feeling my best? I am going to casually shed this blazer though because this room is sweltering. It's like 100 degrees in here, I swear to God. So, happiest of Thursdays. It is actually Tuesday when I'm recording this. Look at me. I'm planning ahead. Buckle up your seatbelts, everybody, just because I'm going to be traveling over this weekend, and that is a great opportunity to take this lovely little recording setup with me and change the scenery when I'm away on a trip seeing one of my very good friends' daughters for her second birthdays. I'm very excited. My cup shall runneth over at that point, so it's okay if I'm feeling a little bit down today. So let's talk about steroids. My personal experience over the last 11 and a half years, it's almost to the point where I can finally round up and say 12, August 25th. That is my MS diagnosis anniversary, and it will officially be 12 years this year. But my first do-si-do and most frequent do-si-do, I guess I should say, with steroid treatments is Solu Medrol. And what Solu Medrol, at least in the realm of MS, is used for predominantly is to help bring back normal functionality during MS exacerbations. I have taken IV Solu Medrol four times in the last 11 and a half years during periods of intense exacerbations, even if I felt great. So I've talked about this one specific use case where I ran a 5K in the morning and then my neuro called me that evening to be like, hey, we need to put you on an emergency 5-day course of Solu Medrol because you are progressing rapidly. Bless you, MRI scans, for constantly giving me the real news because I feel fine. Albeit I am a little hot right now and I think I'm actually slower than normal, where I'm usually really enthusiastic in these videos and just like, let's talk about steroids. No, right now I'm kind of just like surviving. I am not thriving today. I was this morning and now I'm on like a downward slope. I feel a little manic today to the sense where like I was really up this morning and felt so on top of the world, and then I just had like the rug pulled out from under me and I wasn't expecting it, and I'm recalibrating my equilibrium as we speak, literally right here, right now. Thank you for being here, and a big hydrating cheers to you. Thank you. We are coming back up like I do every video. Right back up. So, Solu Medrol and I have had a really interesting relationship. I would say love-hate, but it's really hate-hate. I'm finally at a point now where I don't hate it as much. The longest period of time that I was put on Solu Medrol was at my diagnosis time. So 11 and a half years ago, after getting diagnosed in Fletcher Allen, Vermont, with my spinal MRI, which came back clean, grateful every day. But my head looked like Swiss cheese. They were like, this girl definitely has multiple sclerosis. Honestly, grateful for that too. Did not have to have a spinal tap. Did not have to go through endless testing and the pain of not having that diagnosis like that. I realize how fortunate I am, and I'm grateful every single day. And shout out to all of you badass warriors out there who don't have a seamless experience like that. I see you, and you're amazing. However, during that period of time when I couldn't really walk, I couldn't use this arm, which I am left-handed, which is why my neuron is on this side. And I had like a makeshift scarf sling that my arm just kind of hung out in because I couldn't use it. So in university, I had an accommodation to type all of my notes and essays, and You watch movies like Legally Blonde and it's like everyone's using a laptop except for the main character who's using a notebook and like a fuzzy pen. That's more realistic, actually. Most people actually, when I went to school, did not use laptop computers in class unless we were specifically asked to. So that was very interesting. But during this period of time when I can't really use a good portion of my body, I went through a 7-day course of Solu Medrol, which was the longest course of Solu Medrol I've experienced and the most intense to this day. Where when you are administered a consistent daily dose of hour-long steroid treatment, you get what is called a port, if you're not aware. Some folks actually port their chests. I was grateful. I had it in my arm. I was grateful. However, over the years, I've learned that actually this vein in both of my arms, you can probably see this one better, it hates having things put into it. Take my blood from it, easy peasy, but putting medicine or steroids or anything into me, it shuts down. It goes full Gordon Ramsay. Shut it down! So I get told I need to take a 7-day course of Solu Medrol, and I'm like, I'm new here. I don't know what that means. What am I doing? This is crazy. I'm just going to like do my homework and read. I think I fell asleep through most of it. But let's talk about what steroids do to the body. And this is all coming from my personal experiences. I am not a medical practitioner. Yes, you could probably Google a lot of these symptoms, but this is coming from my personal experience. Please take that with a grain of salt. You might get lucky and experience none of these things, and that would be wonderful for you, and I love that for you. But this was my personal experience and has been my experience every time I take IV Solu Medrol. So the symptoms that I experience on this IV steroid include insatiable hunger. I am so ravenous to a degree that is impossible to manage. And I'm not talking like I'm ravenous, like, I'm going to go home, make a can of tuna, make some eggs. Like, I love turkey meal prep bowls. Like, I eat this for lunch every day. Ground turkey, lettuce, chopped up cherry tomatoes, avocado, couscous right now. I'm really digging that. Feta cheese, bell peppers, chickpeas. I think that's it. And then I use Bolthouse Farms ranch dressing because it's yogurt based and a little bit higher protein because I'm insane. Like, you think that you're going to meal prep for yourself during this time and be like, oh, I know I'm getting this, so like I should prepare food in my fridge. No, don't waste your time because you're not going to want it. Because not only are you insatiably hungry, you're insatiably hungry for the worst food on the entire planet. And your cravings are insane. They make you a crazy person. So for me personally at this time, I was really craving Burger King. And I'm a chicken nugget kind of a girl. My family makes fun of me all the time, but I love my nuggies. Always will. Forever and always. Hashtag Dinobites. So yes, I'm insatiably hungry and I'm like, oh my God, somebody save me. Someone get me Burger King. Fine. So insatiable hunger, number 1. Violent, uncontrollable mood swings to a degree that, like, I've written numerous blogs for the MS Society on Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and MS mood swings, and I talk about this a lot and being accountable. No, that doesn't apply here because there's zero hope of having any semblance of control over yourself, over thyself during this period of time. Grace, forgiveness, anything in between, applicable here. So I'm insanely hungry. I'm craving Burger King. But I'm also insanely moody and can't get a hold of myself at all. So bless the person that took me to these steroid infusions at the time. Shout out to you, Emmy. But I will never forget sitting in that chair and being like, I'm starving and I need Burger King today, right now, 5 minutes ago. And them looking at me and being like, yeah, no problem. Not a problem at all. Let's go. Let's go get some Whoppers. Let's just like get all the Burger King. And in like a split 45-second period of time, I turn to this person and I'm sobbing. And I'm just like, I'm a fat piece of garbage. I can't eat it. This is crazy. I did eat it, and I didn't regret it, and it totally helped the mood swings a little bit. But point number 1, you're insatiably hungry. Point number 2, you're insane. You're completely out of your mind. Like, you are not the same person that you were before you started getting these steroids. You are bananas, batshit out of your mind. I send you so much love, adoration, everything in between. But if you tell me you're on Solu Medrol that week, I'm going to stay a little bit further away from you. Okay, so now we're hungry. Now we're angry. And also we're not sleeping. Steroids make it impossible to fall asleep. No matter how tired you are. No matter how tired you are. You just can't sleep. So for that entire 7-day period, I didn't sleep at all. I was starving. I was angry. It was just a whole rigmarole of hullabaloo from hell. I also learned later on this journey, when you're getting IV level steroids, they're supposed to wean you off of these with oral Percocets. Not Percocets. Is it a Percocet? Hold on. It's prednisone. Oral prednisone. Percocets are opiates. It's not that. It's oral prednisone steroids to wean you off. The first 2 times I took Solu Medrol, so a 7-day course, years later it was a 5-day course, they didn't wean me at all. So like I just didn't sleep for like 2 full weeks both times. Learned later on, I was like, what do you mean you're going to wean me off of this? That's insane. Oh my God. I didn't sleep during the prednisone either, but it still was a little bit easier on the system than like an IV level steroid just like shooting into your bloodstream. I'll say that much. Ask your doctor to wean you off of IV administered Solu Medrol, please, for everyone's sake. So, insatiable hunger, insatiable anger, exhaustion beyond all reason. It was FUBAR across the board. Google that. I'm not saying it on the camera. But yes, eventually it did help bring back functionality in my body. But unpacking that first round, that's 7 days of having a port in my arm. So like showering, I needed like a cast glove, basically, those rubber ones that you put on in the shower so you can get it wet and do all these things, just because they wrap it, but it's still like you want to be careful. And I warned my nurses every time, it will come out. It will auto-eject itself from my body without warning, suddenly one day. And they all laugh at me and they're like, you've never like dealt with my skills. And they all have this ego until they meet me. So first of all, this first time I get ported, I make it 5 days with the port, and then it just shoots right out of my arm and is out in the ether. And I'm like, that's a bummer. That means I got to get stuck again today. Okay. And this was my first experience dealing with phlebotomists, nurses, whoever you are, bless you for all that you do. But it was my first experience dealing with folks who had no idea what they were doing and could never find a vein. So we go fishing. When my port came out, she uses the other arm, and I think I have a little bit of unresolved PTSD from this experience where I'll never forget sitting in that chair, and she was the sweetest little lady. And every time she went to stick me, she would go, and pick, and pick. She picked me about 8 times before she said, I'm going to really hurt you if I try again. I'm sending you home. You need to come back tomorrow. And I was just like, ow. I'm a pincushion. Like, I'm black and blue up and down. Thankfully, she gets the port back in for the final 2 days the next day, and it goes fine, whatever. But that was my first experience learning that Solu Medrol makes me a psychopath, and also my body doesn't like infusions whatsoever. It doesn't take to them to this day, no matter what I do. So I've learned a lot of things with this. We will get there. We will get into the tips and tricks for folks that are going for Solu Medrol infusions, or any kind of infusion, actually, just because they all kind of have the same lasting effects in my experience. So we will get there. Hold on. Take a seat. Thank you. So the next round of Solu Medrol I remember receiving was 5 days. And this was after that phone call after the 5K. I might do a little slideshow at the end of this again. Who knows? Just because those pictures are wild. Where like my arms from like here all the way to here were just black and blue. And then like I was bored and not sleeping. So I did take pictures of the black and blues and like drew cat faces on them. And like drew a guy sitting on the toilet on one. I was like trying to make the best of it to the best of my ability. But I was a pincushion that time too. And again, a 5-day course of Solu Medrol, day 3. Pop, comes right out. And I look at it and I'm just like, you son of a biscuit. And I go in there and they're like, wow, I've never had this happen to a patient before. And I was like, wow, I have. Put it back in. I'm always kosher to my nursing staff. I love the medical people who take care of me. I swear to God. But at that point, I'm starving, I'm insane, I'm not sleeping, and I hurt. I'm a pincushion. Please just stick me and let's get this over with. And that year was fun just because it was also around the time of my very awesome aunt's birthday, who I'm very close to, and everyone was like, let's go to the winery. I was like, yes, this winery sounds so much fun. And there's pictures of me just all jacked up, like, I'm having a great time. And they were like, you probably shouldn't drink while you're on IV steroids. And I was like, I'll have like a glass or two. A glass or two sent me to the moon, y'all. Like, okay, so now we're starving. We're not sleeping. We are kind of ferociously angry all the time. And now we're very drunk because, fun fact about steroids I learned that time, don't drink on them at all because it will send you immediately to the moon. And not in like a fun way either because you're all sorts of jacked up over here and it just culminates and it's just a bad time for everyone, I think. I wasn't a jerk or anything to anyone around me. I was just wasted. Okay. Forward fasting, whatever it is. I always reverse those words. Always have since I was a kid. I'm not changing it now. Going into the future, my birthday 2 years ago, I want to say 2 years ago, 2024 probably, because 2024 can eat it. Like, it was probably 2024. But my birthday, happy birthday to me, I get put on a 3-day course of Solu Medrol. Where, bless my family, I love them to death, but my answer anytime they're like, do you want me to come with you to like an infusion? My answer is going to be no, just because that is my meditative peace time. I also just don't want people I love sitting there like watching me get stuck like a pincushion 6,000 times and having my blood squirt everywhere and making like them feel like that's a normal thing. It's not a normal thing, but I'm going to sit there and laugh and be like, that's totally normal. It's completely fine because that's how I respond to everything. But they don't. So it's like, I don't want them to be like super emotionally inflated in this moment and then have me reacting from them. So it's just, I stay to my little internal peace ritual that I have for these moments. But 3 days of Solu Medrol, I still get ported. Port shoots out at the end of day 3, but I didn't need to get stuck again. That was a blessing. But yeah, that was my birthday treatment that year, which was, I laugh about it now because I'm like, that's so stupid. But at the same time, it's just like, well, at least I'm getting better, I guess. So my experience with Solu Medrol, specific IV infusions, not great. Every time I get told I need to take them, I get really sad. I will say the last experience I had, I was still with my previous hospital network, and Nurse Tammy, I will never forget you and your purple hair. You were outstanding. You met every person that actually did come with me, because I did have family force their way in and being like, we're going to sit here with you. I was like, fine. My sister's the funnest one because she's not used to those environments, so she always thinks zombies are coming after her. Nurse Tammy was the shit, though, because she was just, I was like, it's going to come out. I'm telling you right now. And she was like, it's never done it to me before. And then it happened on that last day, and she was just like, I will never forget you, Kat Weston. You were the first. But she was also the fastest stick. And I felt the most confident that it was going to stay in as long as it possibly could. So thank you, Nurse Tammy. I appreciate you and your interesting life and your beautiful hair. So going into this next part of advice for folks going through any infusion, honestly, at this point, where I am now happily on ocrevus. And what I've learned through all of these experiences is I'm the weirdo that goes in and I'm like, don't bother with my arms. I like my IV in my hands. They're the juiciest veins that I have. Even if they use the vein finder, they're like, damn, those are juicy. I'm like, thank you. I know. But ocrevus, I get it in my hands. It's like usually 6 hours, I want to say, and then it's one and done. So I don't need a port for that, which is probably part of the reason that it doesn't bother me as much, because I don't have to go home and be like, how am I going to shower with this? But what I've learned for infusions, whether it's Solu Medrol, whether it's ocrevus, which for folks who are not familiar with the ocrevus process, this is for me. People do it differently no matter where you are. You go in, they give you, me in this case, I get oral Tylenol to help with the infusion reaction potential. And I get 1 shot of Solu Medrol. And that's just to help with that infusion reaction and just like help your body kind of process the medication a little bit easier. That's never bothered me. And then from there, they basically just administer the drug. And what I have learned, I will actually differentiate these. So Solu Medrol infusions only last an hour, but it is the longest hour of your day, I promise. Because you feel awful after. And what I learned the hard way, that last time I was in the midst of getting this tattoo, and bless my tattoo artist, she was so cool, where I walked in and I'm insanely light sensitive. Solu Medrol also makes me really light sensitive. Steroids in general, you're not supposed to spend a lot of time in the sun. Your skin is hypersensitive. I knew this. I didn't think about this on the next level. So I go into my tattoo appointment, and we were working on the leaves at the time. And like this was just an outline still, and the flowers weren't done. So we're literally just doing the green leaves that day. And she was going to start the flowers. I sit down and I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger from The Terminator. And I just looked at my tattoo artist and I'm like, Poppy, I'm going to wear these shades the whole time because I'm on a lot of steroids and I'm dying. And she was really familiar with my story. She's awesome. She's done 3 out of 4 of my tattoos. Shout out to you, Poppy. And what I didn't think about beforehand, but learned for sure, and then Googled after, which 100% confirmed, your skin gets significantly more sensitive when you're on IV steroids or even oral steroids. IV steroids just take it up to the next level. I've got a great pain tolerance too. Like tattoos all day, every day, put me in the chair. This particular day in my sonny's in the chair, she starts on the leaves and we get halfway through and I look at her, I'm like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. We got to stop. And she's like, I got to finish these leaves. And I was like, let's do it. Let's finish the leaves. And then I did throw up. And then I went and got Burger King after because I'm consistent, if anything. And it was the worst Burger King I've ever had. And I was just like, man, this just is not great. And actually, I think I went to a cidery that my good friend owns because she was having an event right after that. Yep, that definitely happened too. And I did it again. I learned the first time, don't drink on Solu Medrol. And I go to the cidery after and I was like, I can't drive. Somebody let me sleep at your house. Like, learn from my mistakes, please. Do better than me. Bring it back. Hold on. We got to throw a pause in here because this has just gone completely off the rails. Hold up. Okay. Jumping into tips, tricks, and advice that I've learned through the years of taking infusion anything. Starting with Solu Medrol, my personal advice, do hydrate a ton before actually going. But beware. Beware that as soon as it starts, the infusion, like the medicine starts entering your body, everything's gonna taste real bad. Water tastes like poison. Food tastes like garbage. To alleviate this while you're sitting in the chair uncomfortably, like, I personally like to bring a baggie of hard candies. Jolly Ranchers and those hard strawberry candies that in the center there's like that little cream filling. Those are my favorite. And I just kind of suck on those the entire time that I'm in the chair for Solu Medrol specifically because the taste in your mouth is significantly more intense than like an ocrevus. Sorry if you can hear Puddles chasing her tail in the background. But hard candies, a must because everything else is going to taste like doo-doo. Really, really big. That helped me tremendously. 2, expect not to sleep, but to try to help that, really stick to a solid sleep routine. I'm doing this now not on Solu Medrol infusions, and quite frankly, it's game-changing to a degree that like even I'm unprepared for. When I don't sleep well now, it's noticeable because I'm like, but I did the stretching, the meditation, the like subliminal rain sounds, and the eye mask, and I still slept like crap. But hard candies, solid sleep routine in an attempt to just make you feel better. 3, rest and recover. You're not going to be saving the world when you're on Solu Medrol IV steroids. You're there for a reason, and it's because you're having an exacerbation of some kind. Solu Medrol isn't just used for MS, so it's like you're there because you need it. And that is a reason, not that you ever need a reason to rest, but it is a reason to sit the down. Sit right now. Sit down. Take a siesta. Where let your body heal. You need to heal. And rest is the only way that it's actually going to. And I think movement is medicine, but in these moments, no, sit down. Take a neighborhood walk if you want to, if you have a dog and you want to get outside, but shorten it, less than a mile. Make it like 10 minutes. That's the most you can do, I promise. And not to challenge you, I'm not saying that you can't do more than that. Bet. No, sit down. Okay, I'm still a little feisty from work, clearly, and I'm sweaty, so bear with me. Advice, I guess, for ocrevus, because they are 2 totally different experiences in my book. And if you have taken either Solu Medrol or ocrevus via IV infusion, please share your experience in the comments. I would love to hear about it and discuss with you what your tips and tricks are and like what you find successful in these moments, because it takes a lot of time and it's kind of miserable. So let's make some camaraderie here. Please share with me. So ocrevus, I go in there with a big baggie. One of my Huggles, which if you're not familiar with a Huggle, think of a Snuggie, but it's a sweatshirt. And I've gotten all of these as gifts. I would never purchase one myself, but boy golly, do I love it. It's so comfortable. And because I put the IV in my hand for those, like I know I can't really use whatever hand that it's in effectively, so I use it as a blankie so that I'm nice and cozy for 6 hours of sitting there in the chair. Along with that, I usually bring 2 books because I'm reading like a fiend these days and I never know when I'm going to finish one. So I bring 2 books that I may or may not actually even open. I bring this power bank, thanks to my sister. She got this for me and it's awesome, especially in power outages. Y'all get a power bank to charge my phone, because my phone, my loving iPhone SE with the fingerprint and everything still, it has a service warning for the battery, and I'm making that bad boy last until it croaks. I don't like adopting new tech. Ask my friends about my 2007 iPod. I'm not ashamed. So there in my Huggle, I've got my earbuds in, my power bank's next to me, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm reading a book, and I think I'm going to achieve so much in those 6 hours. Just like, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to write a novel. I'm going to start a novel while I'm sitting here, unless I've got the IV in my left hand and then I can't do anything. I can't even journal. I can't even write. And it's usually in my left hand. So it's always just like, What actually ends up happening, ocrevus, the first dose is given in 1/2 dose. And then I think it was 2 weeks later, they gave me the second half dose. And then after that, it's the full 6 hour dose. And the difference in this is that like the 2 half doses and my first full dose, I just was like, sitting in the chair, kind of bored. And then the last couple of times that I've had my infusion, I just conk. I am like narcoleptic. I can't even function. It's like I wake up when they take my blood pressure and I'm like, where am I? By the time I come to at the end of it, because they sometimes monitor me after to make sure I'm fine. And it's actually me that's like, can you wait 15 minutes like we're supposed to make sure I don't like die or need anything? And they're like, yeah, I guess you could sit there. But after that, I bounce back and I feel like Superwoman. My energy is incomparable to anything I've faced other than the few times that I have taken my prescribed Adderall. It's rare that I do, but it is a vast difference in my energy levels and like not feeling like I suffer from chronic fatigue. It's a different world. And I know a lot of folks react to ocrevus completely differently. So like a friend of mine gets it and he's like, I'm taking a nap. I'm down for the count the rest of the day. I'll feel normal tomorrow. It's like I get home and I clean my light switches, my doorknobs, the banisters, the walls. I vacuum, I mop, I dust, I would do the dishes. Like I'm Superwoman. I'm just doing all the things. And I'm like, what else can I clean? And I'm very grateful for that. But the key difference in like that infusion versus Solu Medrol specifically for me is I don't get the weird taste in my mouth with ocrevus. A little bit if I'm there because I'm trying to hydrate as I'm in the chair just to keep my veins pliable, I guess is a word. But they're so angry and small and finicky and they're like, we don't like having things enter us. And they become like the crypt keeper. So I'm sitting there and I'm drinking like 69,000 of these, which means I'm also rolling with my IV hand, like to the bathroom, just like I'm going to the bathroom for the 14th time in the last hour. It's fine. Washing your hands with an IV, by the way, very challenging. I'm really good at it now. I digress. But I haven't really had the bad taste in my mouth unless I'm literally actively drinking water and then I can taste it. But that is a very key difference between Solu Medrol and ocrevus, at least. I can't speak to other infusions. I've never had them. But it's a welcome blessing. And yes, I do still show up with little hard candies. I pack snacks because I'm there for so long. The peanut M&M times, that's going to be a story for another day when I did so bad. And I'm going to leave you on that cliffhanger right now because I need to feed this dog who's running around like crazy behind me. But thank you for joining me on this journey to talk about all things steroids, basically. This was mostly about Solu Medrol and my personal experiences with IV ocrevus infusions. But please, if you have experienced Solu Medrol or even prednisone, oral prednisone also can make you a psychopath and has for me. So it's just, I love hearing other folks' experiences with these types of things, also because it's validating when I'm losing my mind and I'm like, what's happening to me? So please take a moment, share your experience, share this video with other folks you think who might actually benefit from hearing my crazy escapades in this 33-minute ridiculousness that was supposed to be like 15. Again, I keep doing this. I'm a little unhinged today, which means I appreciate you double time for taking the time to actually spend with me on this very beautiful Tuesday evening. I hope you all have the loveliest of Thursdays when this is actually posted, and I am sending all of my love through this screen directly to you. Have a wonderful Thursday. I love you all so much. Take care. You thought you were getting away without a Puddles Cam. She is the star of these videos, let's be real. Thank you, Puddles. Thank you for your service by being a dog. We appreciate you so much.